me, like one of the core promises of Web3 was always to have privacy, but I then quickly realized that it's actually not the case. So we actually have.
Hi everyone, welcome to Voice of Crypto. We're live from Token 2049 and today we have with us Julian from Elusiv. Hi Julian, it's a pleasure to be interviewing you. Can you please talk a little bit about yourself and what you're currently doing with Elusiv?
Yeah, sure. Happy to be here. So I'm the co-founder of Elusiv, and at Elusiv we're trying to build a modular privacy stack for Web3. So we basically build ZK and MPC infrastructure for privacy specifically. And a bit like about myself, so I'm 24 years old. Basically co-founded Elusiv out of university with my co-founders in Munich. And yeah, I've been going for over 1.5 years since then. And before that, worked 2 years in TradFi. In Munich, studied CS. Worked a bit in the space next to my studies. And yeah, now we're here.
So blockchain technology has taken quite a few leaps in the last couple of years, and you have been a part of this space to witness that sort of tectonic shift that we saw in this space. What sort of shifts do you think were the most crucial or key to this space that we sort of took in terms of maybe privacy, security, adaptability, adoption of the tech? What is your take on that?
Yeah, I mean, so when I first got into the space, like early 2017, it's basically still in high school back then. First, like touch points with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and back then, for me, like one of the core promises of Web3 was always like to have privacy, but I then quickly realized that it's actually not the case. So we actually have less privacy in Web3 at the moment than in Web2. So, I mean, if you do like an on-chain transaction, as we all know, it's basically fully transparent. And if I'd send you some USDC, for example, I'd dox myself forever, basically. So you could see my past transactions, my balance, and my future transactions. We've seen like some innovations there, like first one probably like Zcash, and there were just privacy focused chains, and also like on Ethereum, like application layer, something like Tornado Cash, and now what we are trying to build is like basically like plug and play privacy for any like DeFi application or wallet with built-in compliance tooling, because again that's going to be the next shift to bring privacy and compliance together.
Absolutely. So Web3 aims to create a more open and interconnected space, right? And yet, with so many blockchains out there, interoperability still remains a problem. What sort of solutions do you have, if any, in mind? And do you think we as an industry can get past those issues?
Yeah, I mean it's quite hard to like say now where like the future will be in like a few years from now. There's like different opinions on it. That we have like thousands of ones and twos that just connected all with each other through bridges. My opinion, not sure if that's something we want. Maybe it's better to just have like a few like specific chains. I mean, we got started with Solana, for example, which is a bit under the radar, I guess, from the mainstream, but like picking up again. It's super hard to say. I have the thesis that you don't need like thousands of chains, but I might be super wrong here, so hard to say. But in any case, like things like bridging need to become way more secure, that we can have like tons of different chains. And I mean, we are also like an application level working on like composability that like everything works smoothly with each other.
All right. Despite the major leaps that we have made as a sector, privacy and security, especially for users, still remains a concern. So how is Elusiv sort of working towards better user advantages, and how are you handling user data? What's your take on the entire scenario?
Yes, sure. So, I mean, what we basically do right now is to ensure transactional privacy. So, if you do simple on-chain transaction, we basically hide your public key. And then for DeFi, it's basically that you have, we call it like sandwiching. So you basically have like a DeFi protocol, like let's say a DEX aggregator, like 1inch. And if you want to make this private, you'd have like, you wouldn't need to do any changes on the existing protocol. It would just be that you interact, basically have Elusiv before, then you have the DeFi protocol, and then like interact with Elusiv afterwards again. So that's how basically your public key is hidden, but you don't need like extra liquidity or like building a whole new like DEX or whatever from scratch.
Sounds amazing. And you did mention that you are one of the young entrepreneurs in the Web3 space, and the space is full of people who are trying to build, create. How has your experience been? And if you had to give some advice to young entrepreneurs in the space, what would that be?
Yeah, sure. So I'm actually the oldest founder in the founding team, 24. But yeah, I guess in our case, maybe like how we got started. So it's like, so I mentioned that we started out of university. It was like kind of like, I guess like a side project, like some fun project. And then what we did, we saw, I also mentioned that we started on Solana initially. There was a Hacker House, Solana Hacker House, in-person event in Prague. So it was like a short 4-hour train ride. And we decided to like just go there, connect with like some people from the ecosystem, like tell them what we're working on. Got some really good feedback, and then like also improved on that feedback. And then a bit later there was like a global hackathon, remote hackathon, and we just participated in that. Also went to another event, pitched our idea, got some really good traction and feedback there as well. And then it just so happened that we had some kind of like received funding based around. Like I guess my take on it is just to get started, and because that's what we did, and then try to connect with people. I guess that's super like valuable in-person events. If there's some events close to where you live, definitely go talk to people, get feedback. Like we've like got a lot of like support from like Solana, for example, that really helped us. And I guess like just get started, do something, be humble, be nice to people, and get out there.
Really great pieces of advice. AI, Julian, has been one area of interest, so to say. And when we talk about emerging technologies, a couple of years back, it was Web3, blockchain. And I wouldn't say it's outdated now. We're still pretty early as compared to the rest of the world. But a lot of people see potential in the convergence of AI and blockchain. Is Elusiv sort of coming up with products or services around that? And what sort of potential do you see in the convergence of these two emerging techs?
I mean, so I'm not that deep to AI. Like back in university, I built like some super simple like Python script that could tell dog dogs and cats apart. So that's like the only thing I had to do with AI in the past. But I mean, I think it's like quite interesting for the analytics on chain activity. It could make sense for us like to eventually have like some kind of system to eventually detect like illicit behavior on chain. That's like just some idea. And I guess there would be some use cases for part of our infrastructure where that there would be things we wouldn't build ourselves, where people could use our infra to basically combine ZK and ML in some ways, but haven't really like took
Absolutely. Apart from that, compliance and regulations, that's one tricky arena still. How far do you think do we have in terms of adhering to the right set of regulations, and how far do you think our governments, global governments, when it comes to regulating the cryptocurrency space? I mean, blockchain as is a tech and different from cryptocurrencies, but there is quite a bit of negative commentary around cryptocurrencies. Do you think that would change in the near future?
I guess it depends where we are. So, like in general for like regulation, so we are based in the EU. They're at least trying to come up with good regulation. We're also actively trying to get involved and participating on positioning papers and whatever through like various associations that are in contact with regulators. I think like Mika is like the first I guess like framework that gives like some like guidance on what you can do and what not. Yeah, and then there's I guess like in Asia is like a lot of like smaller countries or like I guess Singapore is quite crypto friendly. Hong Kong is like opening up again. The UAE, but it really depends. Like on the other side, in the US right now, it's more like cracking down on all these crypto companies, even though if they try to comply with regulation. I think it will like still take time. It's really hard to say. We obviously like closely following what's going on like everywhere, but especially the States and EU. And for like privacy and compliance specifically, I guess we are quite at the forefront and pushing that. Like the narrative around it just picked up because before you like kind of had like just this like kind of like extreme view that we like privacy is a human right, we're fully agree with, but like the engineers behind of these protocols basically have the view that no compliance is needed, and that's just not gonna work in the mid to long term, because if you don't like do anything against like illicit activity, we'll see what happens with like, for example, tornado cash. So I believe are like one of the first protocols that like try or even like have a solution where we'll also release a new paper on that quite soon on how to like bring privacy compliance, and we call it decentralized compliance, together, so there's no like centralized like entity that can like just censor everything, but like some governance, like self-regulatory approach to basically allow privacy for the normal day-to-day users. But if there's some like hacker who tries to like use Elusiv to hide his traces, this won't be possible. We have like more to come, like launching the actual system, like a bunch of like compliance tooling already in place, but like this unique system I just like described on a very, very high level called Elusiv will most likely launch towards the end of this year, and the paper should be released in the next few weeks.
Pretty amazing stuff. How do you envision the future of blockchain tech in terms of adoption, in terms of regulations, and what do you envision in the next, I would say, 2 to 3 years, because 5 years is quite a bit of leap.
Yeah. So I right now see like a trend more towards consumer-facing applications. It's also I think like a lot of VCs are starting to back more like consumer-facing apps and less infrastructure, because that's we also like more on the infrastructure side. We do have like some application there, and like for example, like private swaps, something we just recently launched. But yeah, we definitely need more people actually using Web3. So don't know like what these applications will exactly look like, but most likely, I guess like applications that will bring the most users are probably applications where the user doesn't necessarily know that it's using like a blockchain under the hood, or where you don't really like, like probably like some abstraction.
Absolutely.
And I think the second part was like on regulatory compliance. For that, like Mika and the EU is like quite big. And what else in the US? 2 to 3 years could change a lot. Also depending on like the election, I guess.
Yeah.
And then in Asia, I think, to be honest, I think Asia is the place to be. It's more open, and you also have the users who actually need like especially like for like the current use cases like payments, stable coins. You don't really need that in the US or in Europe. But I mean, like Asia is like a huge market where where people actually need this, because they don't have access as easily to a bank account or whatever. And it also feels like that a lot of countries here are opening up and are crypto friendly, are more looking to like try out stuff in sandboxes first. I feel like in Europe you kind of like need to ask first if you can do something. It's like a bit slow.
Makes sense. Do you have any closing thoughts?
So I guess like in general, for like people who are like day-to-day users of Web3, be careful with your data. Like everything you do on chain will be visible forever. And if you want to protect your privacy, you can use Elusiv. You don't have to, but think like about that. Blockchains are immutable, and like just you think how it acts in Web2. I guess you wouldn't like publicly share all your bank account history, your transactions. And if you're a young founder, just get out there, talk to people, get feedback early, don't be shy, be humble, and if it doesn't work out, just try again. I mentioned earlier that we participated in a hackathon. Again, we didn't win the hackathon, so I think we got like a honorable mention, but we didn't win. But didn't like stop us.
So don't give up is the final word, I guess. Thank you so much, Julian. It was a pleasure interviewing you. That's all.